Do you really wanna? Do you really wanna taste it? Yeah, you do.
Do you really wanna, do you really wanna taste it?
Following the events of the Suicide Squad film, Christopher Smith, aka Peacemaker, is recruited for a special Black Ops mission. Along with his new team and pet eagle, this super douchey hero may just get a shot at saving the world. This show is an absolute treat. I am so happy to have gotten through this show and be able to tell everybody that it is incredible. I had a smile on my face practically every episode. When they released this show, they released the first 3 episodes all at once, and I was like, okay, so enough episodes to hopefully kind of get some momentum and get a good vibe for what the show is going to be. And I didn't want to turn this thing off. It did take a couple episodes. The first episode, I was like, okay, this might have some promise. Second episode, you start getting into the meat of the story a little bit more. And by the end of the 3rd episode, you're like, okay, when do I get these? Oh, I have to wait once a week. So after that, it was a once a week release. So here we are 5 weeks later, and oh my gosh, this show is so stinking good. John Cena plays Peacemaker, same guy from the Suicide Squad, and he is incredible. His acting definitely, you see it improve throughout the series. The more his character develops, the more he gets a chance to really dive into the meat and bones of what this character is and what makes, him Peacemaker, what drives him. And there's a lot of tragedy. I've got to go back and now watch the Suicide Squad, because I'm going to be looking at Peacemaker with a whole different perspective now, especially knowing what kind of backstory he really had. It's incredible the amount of fleshing out, they doing this to make me want to do that, because obviously it's a TV show. It's 8 episodes, so you get a lot of fleshing out, or you should if you have a really good person, leading the show. And James Gunn knows what he's doing, and he fleshes out a completely incredible story. One of the best supporting casts I've seen in a TV show in a long time. Everybody is awesome in this. You have Danielle Brooks as Leota Abadayo. You have Freddie Stroma as Vigilante, who is awesome. He came out of nowhere and has become one of my favorite characters on the show. Oh boy, and I'm gonna butcher this dude's name, and I apologize in advance, but trust me, he is awesome in the show. Shawudi Iwuji as Clemson Mern. Then you have Jennifer Holland as Amelia Harcourt, Steve Agee as John Economos, and by the way, in the Suicide Squad movie, he did the motion capture for King Shark, which is also pretty cool. And then finally, Robert Patrick plays Augie Smith, a.k.a. the White Dragon, a.k.a. Peacemaker's dad. And that rounds out a phenomenal cast. All these actors, all these characters get enough time to breathe, to develop, to become complex, and to make you care about them in ways that I never thought I would. Especially Peacemaker. He seemed like a character that was irredeemable after the events of the Suicide Squad. And here he is in this series, and I've teared up a few times. His backstory is tragic. His mental state is one that you're just like, I get it. Like, I get why he's a big super douche. And boy, it tugs at the heartstrings. And James Gunn just mastered every bit of writing in this show. There's not a lot of fluff to this. There's some jokes and some commentary, obviously, but the meat, this story is so well told from beginning to end. So what I like about the writing of this show is, it's one guy. Usually these TV shows a lot of times are like writers by committee. You get your big writers room, and that's how typically TV shows are run. Every once in a while, it's not uncommon, but have one dude just sit down, write the entire show in its entirety, also, and then direct everything and get his vision to the screen. And the fact that Warner Brothers and HBO Max let James Gunn do his thing benefits them. You let your creators create, and that's what they did here. And I am so happy for it, because James Gunn knocks this out of the park. The dude is pretty much batting 1,000. I'm telling you, I can't stop gushing about it. I want everybody to see this show because it's so good. It's one of the best DC shows I ever produced. I'm not going to say it's the best, but it's really up there for me. Trust me when I say that this show, it will shock you. It is bloody. It is gory. It is filthy in terms of just language and just content. And they are not afraid to go places. People wreck shop in all the most fun, gruesome ways. It's funny, I hate comparing shows, but this is airing, Peacemaker aired about the same length as Boba Fett. So the Book of Boba Fett finished up last week, and here this week, Peacemaker finished up. But each week that they were kind of side by side with each other, I was looking forward every week more to Peacemaker. That is how good this show was. Like, Book of Boba Fett was fine. It was okay. I looked forward to it, but it never got to me to the excitement level that stinking Peacemaker got me to. Peacemaker, a like third tier, fourth tier DC character that I didn't even know too much about before he was in the Suicide Squad. Other than that, I didn't know and care about this character. But this show made me care. This show developed a character from his douchey thinking he's a superhero roots to, in the end, really changing him and taking him on this journey that is so well worth it. Because, he's not a perfect dude, and he acknowledges he's not a perfect dude. He screws up a lot, and he's definitely got his own issues. But that is where the exploration of all that comes into play, and you see him kind of reflect and just changing as each episode goes along, and it's super satisfactory. There's just so much here, 8 episodes. There's a lot to dive into, but it's so much I don't want to spoil for people because you should truly experience this. If you have HBO Max, check out Peacemaker. It is, I solemnly swear that you will love this show. I have not talked to anybody who has seen it that hasn't at least liked it a lot. And people, I've talked to people who are curious, and I highly recommend just giving this one a go, because if you liked the Suicide Squad, you will like this. If you like Guardians of the Galaxy, you may like this. Harder to say, because this really just pushes everything. And I'm telling you, like, one of my favorite scenes in the whole show is just a back and forth between Peacemaker and Steve Aoki's character, John Economos, and it's just utterly hilarious. And it's my favorite moment of the whole show. And it's just two dudes talking and swearing at each other, and it's glorious. It's utterly glorious. The show gets an A from me. This was everything, a great show should be. And, being the pleasant surprise that it is kind of made it even better. And in the end, they do some great callbacks and ties to the greater DC universe, which gets the blood pumping. It was exciting to see. And, because, DC is known for having, a lot of issues with their cinematic universe, and everybody comparing them to Marvel. And, it's fair. There's fair criticisms about that. But I think that, what this show did is prove that DC's finally kind of turning a corner. Is it perfect? The whole universe? Not by a long shot yet. But DC has started to turn a corner. And I don't know if they'll ever reach Marvel levels. Why even compare? Who cares? Guys, we're living in an age of superhero awesomeness. So just enjoy the ride with everything. And all we can hope for is that stuff ends up being really good. I do want to mention a couple other characters. Judo Master in this show is awesome. When he shows up, you'll see him in the opening credits. And by the way, those opening credits, real quick, come on. The opening credits, guys, are insanely great, and they're like my favorite thing about the whole show too. I never skip the opening credits once, and I'm sure everybody's at least seen the credits. If you haven't even seen the show, you've at least seen the opening credits. The great dancing or cheesy dancing, however you want to view it, I think it's incredible, and the song choice by Wigwam is awesome and well worth it. And there at the end of it, you see the other favorite character. So you get Judo Master, but then you also get Eagly the Eagle. That's right, Peacemaker's pet eagle is named Eagly, and he is every bit as awesome as you would hope a pet eagle in a superhero show would be. So guys, getting an A. It is one of the best DC shows they've ever made. Go check it out on HBO Max. Guys, I was gonna do talking spoilers about this show here at the end, but I don't think I want to. This show is so good, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, because it would take away from the awesome enjoyment I think people would have with this. So go check it out. Go to HBO Max. Just click on that thumbnail to watch Peacemaker. I can't stress this enough. This show is so good. And it's not just because I'm a DC fan, because I am a DC fan. But this show is one of the best DC things that they've put out. And a great complimentary piece to the Suicide Squad film. So go check it out, guys. So if you guys could please leave a like, it would be greatly appreciated. Helps the channel out, as well as hitting that subscribe button does the exact same thing. And leave a comment. Have you guys seen this show? If so, leave a comment down below. If you haven't seen this show, what are your reservations? Yes, leave all those comments down below. I would love to know what's going through everybody's minds in regards to Peacemaker. So yeah, guys, what a busy weekend we got this weekend. Got a couple movies coming up, and definitely got some other content in preparation for the Batman in March. So being very busy over here. I'm very excited. What a good time to be a geek, and I am just, oh boy, I am so energized by just finishing that Peacemaker finale. So yeah, so until next time, guys, I'll be seeing you.